Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so thankful and grateful that you're here. In this video, I'll be sharing a yoga class inspired by the Breathe for Change foundational yoga class sequence. Yoga is much more than just exercises, and yoga has been practiced for at least 5,000 years. The philosophy, the spirituality, the ethical principles, there's so many different parts to learn about yoga. And I'm on a journey of learning. And I like to think about yoga as a process and a process towards peace, a process towards a liberating peace, and also making progress toward that goal. So I invite you to move in that spirit with me today. A few things as we get started. I'll be sharing a bit more of the context and history. And as we get started, just make sure that you have a clear space to practice. You really don't need a yoga mat. It can be helpful and grounding in many ways, but it's not absolutely a requirement for doing yoga. Really, what you need is yourself and some empty space, some clear space, and safe space. You may want to have a glass of water or a few around your space and stay hydrated throughout the practice. You may want to have a folded blanket. It can be nice to put some padding under your knees or under your hips. You might want to have some blocks. You could also use books or other materials that you have. Some people also might enjoy using a bolster or a pillow or a chair. I won't be using those props, but feel free to use them if they support you in your practice. Okay, so feel free to find an easy seat or Sukhasana. Sukhasana might look something like this, could be something simple like this, or it might look different. I'm going to be moving back to the mat in a little bit, but I just invite you to find an easy seat as I share a little bit more about yoga before we get started. Also, feel free to move and start to do some movements that feel good, or feel free to settle into stillness as you listen. Okay, so one of the core principles of yoga, this practice and philosophy, is ahimsa, or nonviolence. It's a central core principle, a foundational part of yoga, part of the first yama in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So ahimsa, non-harming, being kind to yourself and to others. And this non-violence to me relates to a sense of active peace, a peace that resists all forms of oppression of ourselves and of others. So yoga comes from Southeast Asia, which includes many countries and many cultures and a variety of religious and spiritual traditions, which have influenced the development of yoga, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and more. And if, like me, you didn't grow up with those traditions or in those cultures, I really invite you to into a spirit of openness and learning and continuing to grow in your understanding of some of these parts of yoga that have really influenced its development and what it's become, and it continues to evolve, but really going to understand the roots and evolution and where it comes from. So yoga principles and practices inspired nonviolent resistance to British colonial rule in India. In the 1920s and up to 1947, and has been a big part of the movement in India towards independence and liberation from British colonial rule. And Mahatma Gandhi, who really embodied those core ethical principles of yoga, said, Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. So nonviolence is so powerful. It's the greatest thing. It's greater than any other thing that we think is powerful. Nonviolence is the most powerful. And to kind of bring that forward into even more recent history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, peace is not merely a distant goal, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. So I invite you to think about that, liberating peace as a process that you are making progress toward as you practice yoga. And I'm practicing yoga today on June 20th, 2025, in growing awareness of how important this nonviolent resistance to oppression is at these times in this moment in history. And yesterday was marked Juneteenth, and I've been learning more about the history of the holiday Juneteenth, a federal holiday since 2021, but dates back to 1865 when the news of the Emancipation Proclamation finally reached African Americans who had been enslaved in Texas. So finally, that news came to the African Americans there after 2.5 years. It took that long. So, an inspiring woman that I've been learning also more about, named Opal Lee, she wanted to create this day as a national holiday to bring liberation to everyone, to bring this spirit of freedom and the awareness of the suffering that has led to that freedom. And so she walked 2.5 miles every day, all the way from Texas to Washington, D.C., and that 2.5 miles representing the 2.5 years that it took for the news to reach those African Americans in Texas, in Galveston, Texas. And she said Juneteenth is a day that celebrates progress, an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, things do get better and America can change. And through yoga, we change our relationship with ourselves and with others. And that change can have rippling impacts in the liberation and peace process in our whole wide world. Opal Lee also said, none of us are free until we all are free. And Opal Lee also said, freedom to me means that means everyone having what they need. So those are some thoughts about freedom, liberation, peace, and some of the history and interconnection of different movements and places in time and space. And here I am, June 20th, in the Midwest of the United States, on a summer solstice day when the energy of summer is moving a lot of green towards growth and moving us all towards the energy of life and abundance and warmth and yes, ongoing growth. So I invite you to come into that easy seat, which you have now been in for a little bit, hopefully moving and taking care of yourself. Make sure you have your blanket, your water, your blocks nearby. And perhaps feel free to just take a little, I don't know, maybe a little shaking movement through the fingertips, could be through the elbows. Yoga doesn't always start with shaking, but I like to kind of shake things loose. So maybe it feels good to you if you want to do a little bit of shaking, maybe wiggling of the toes and the fingers, wiggling of the elbows, wiggling of the shoulders. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can come to a stillness with your palms perhaps resting on your knees, or you could have your palms up towards the sunshine and the sky. Coming into that easy seat, in Sanskrit, Sukhasana, easy seat. Rooting down through your sitting bones and lengthening up through the spine. We can begin today's class with 3 breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth if it feels good to you. As we get started, just take a moment to check in with your body. Notice if there's anything calling your attention, any sensations, or awareness that you just need to take extra care of. And if you have any questions or concerns about starting a yoga practice or doing any of the exercises, be sure you check in with your doctor or medical professional first. And with that, when you feel ready to begin, you can also just remind yourself that this class is for you. So everything I share is just an invitation, it's an offering. You can always do the movement a little bit differently or do something a little bit different or maybe a lot different that supports you and your well-being in any moment. You can always rest, you can always pause, you can always move faster or slower or just really let this class serve you and what you need. Be mindful of any injuries you might have or anything you're recovering from. And let's enjoy this yoga journey together. So we'll begin with planting some seeds of liberation. You could perhaps reach the left fingertips out to the side and extend that left arm and take the right palm and reach it up and then gently over, really softening through the shoulders, softening through the side. Maybe you look straight out. Maybe you'd like to look down, or maybe it feels good to you to look up. Breathe into your side. When you're ready, turn your palm over and gently reach the palm back toward the right and allow your head and neck to come up last, perhaps. Take those right fingertips, plant some beautiful seeds of liberation and peace. Take your left arm and reach it up to go over. You might look straight out, you might look down, you might look up. See what feels good to you today. You could explore a little bit through the head and neck. And when you're ready, take your left palm, turn your left palm, and perhaps let your left palm lead the way and let your head and neck come up last. Beautiful. Breathe in, grow your spine up tall. Root down through the sitting bones. You might breathe out and bring your palms to your rib cage, allowing yourself to feel your lungs expand. On the inhale and soften. On the exhale, just take a couple more breaths. Feeling the lungs and the rib cage as you breathe in and out. You might even take the palms and bring them to the back and allow your breath to expand into your back of your rib cage. And when you're ready, bring your palms to your knees, perhaps breathe in, reach that spine up tall again, and breathe out, just twist through the rib cage. Maybe you open the palms to the side. Breathe it in and then exhale to the side. Beautiful. Softening your face and your gaze. Breathing in back to the center. Perhaps take a pause with your palms at your knee. Breathe in, grow your spine up tall. And exhale to the left for the second side. Breathe in and out. Twisting just through the rib cage. Coming back through the center. If you'd like to, take a moment and just circle the fingertips, allowing the wrist to feel some mobility. So you could let your thumbs kind of lead the way, or different fingers, scooping around through the fingertips. And maybe you take those circles in the other direction. Remember, this doesn't have to look like me. It has to feel good to you. And you might gently just push through the palms, push forward, maybe expand a bit through the fingers and then soften. You might let the wrists or the fingertips drop down towards the floor. Maybe just give yourself a little bit of movement up and down. Really be easy and gentle with yourself here. Kind of moving through the wrist. That's it. And then if it feels good to you, you can give your fingertips a gentle shake out. And from here, let's come into a gentle cat-cow movement. So feel free to bring your palms right underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips, pressing your feet onto the mat. Now, this is a posture where you may want to use the blanket underneath your knees. I don't usually do that, but sometimes, and for today to demonstrate, I'll just demonstrate having that. Oh, it feels pretty nice, so you might want to give it a try. Go ahead and connect for a moment into your navel center or your belly button and just feel your navel center gently tugging in toward the spine. Feel the length through the spine so you can look down. And then if you'd like to, let's come into some cat-cow breathing. So letting your tailbone reach up and the back of the head reach up, opening through the shoulders and heart, and exhaling into the cat, softening, letting the head and neck be heavy if it feels good. Breathing in and out. Cat-cow. Take your own time with this movement. It can feel really good to move through the spine. Keeping your weight spread out through the palms. Take a couple more cat-cow breaths. Bitalasana, Bitalasana. Remember, do what feels good to you. Always feel free to rest if you need to. Okay, whenever you're ready, and if you'd like to, you can tuck your toes, lift the tailbone, and come into downward facing dog. So here, reaching up through the tailbone, the sitting bones, pressing through the toes, pressing through the whole palms of your hands. I'm going to move my blanket out to the side because I don't think I'll use it as much, but feel free to keep it there if it works for you. You might want to pedal gently through the feet or take any movement here that feels good to you. Activate the muscles of the arms, softening. Find as much ease as you can and enjoy the process of liberating peace. Maybe liberating feels like shaking or wiggling, or maybe liberation to you feels like more stillness. When you're ready, come back to tabletop, that stable table. And then if you'd like to, you can take one knee forward, bringing the right foot perhaps between the hands. And coming into a little bit of half split, so you can take your hips forward and back. You could choose here to keep your foot on the floor, or you might decide to lift the toes up and flex through the foot. So go slow and be gentle with yourself. You can move through rocking forward and back, finding some movement. This is also a nice place you might want to use the blocks here. Get a different kind of sensation. You can also use the blanket to pad under your knees. You could also just fold over that front leg and just stretch and rest. You choose if you want to flex the foot or keep the foot on the ground. You're just stretching different muscles. There's not a right or wrong or better or worse, just different stretches. And then bend the right knee, ground through the left hand, and lift up into a gentle twist to the right. Breathing into it. Finding some ease in the shoulder, you might want to move the blood. Really explore that process of exploring what's bringing you liberation, what's bringing you peace. And when you're ready, come back down through the center. Bring the right foot back. And from here, you might take a little bit of movement forward and back in cat-cow. Just kind of wiggle it out, rocking forward and back. You might want to come into down dog, lifting the tailbone, and then take the left foot, reach the toes up, and step the left foot forward, lowering the back leg. Again, feel free to use that blanket under the knee if it feels good. And you can feel free to send the hips forward and back. Half splits. You could fold over that front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana in Sanskrit. Pressing the top of the back foot into the floor, pressing the palms into the floor. Really breathing and finding your flow with the stretch. And in this position, it's all right if the knee goes a little forward at the ankle. But when you're standing and bearing all your weight, it's better to keep the knee and ankle aligned. Just a note. Okay, whenever you're ready, coming back to that knee and ankle, grounded, planting through the right palm, softening through the elbow and twisting to the left. Finding as much ease, peace, and liberation through your process of moving through this. Breathing into it, coming back through the center. And when you're ready, take your left foot and bring it back to tabletop. From here, let's come into what's called, what can be referred to as a vinyasa. Vinyasa is also a type of yoga, and vinyasa, the word, means to place in a special way. All right, so we'll tuck our toes in a special way. Send the tailbone up toward the sky. Down dog. From down dog, we're going to lengthen into plank. So palms under the shoulders, navel center tugs in toward the spine. Reaching toward the back heels. Now, perhaps you drop your knees down. Keep that long, strong spine, or keep the knees up. Lower down, hug the knees into the body. Lower down, maybe turn the head to the side. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Come into baby cobra, full cobra, or up dog, lifting the hips up and even lifting the legs up. Choose what feels good to you. Make sure you're really listening to your lower back. What feels good to your lower back, engage to the core. Tuck the toes, come back to downward facing dog. Let's move through that vinyasa one more time if you'd like, or you can rest. If you'd like to move through it a little bit faster, here it goes. Breathing in, lengthening into plank. Breathing out, lowering down. Breathing in, cobra up dog. Tuck the toes, coming back to down dog, lifting the tail. When you're in down dog, perhaps you'd like to pedal through the feet. Breathing, find that ease, enjoyment of the peace, liberation of the process. You might let your head and neck soften down. Press through the palms, press through the toes. Beautiful. When you're ready, you could look between your hands. And from here, you could step, float, walk, or hop your feet to your hands and come to the top of your mat. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, bend the knees. Come all the way up. And breathe out, hands to heart. And I'll spend some of the time facing you, some of the time facing the mat. I'm going to just adjust the camera a bit here so you can see my whole self. And okay, so we are going to move through some sun salutations. We'll start with a half sun salutation. And the first part will be mountain pose. So I'm going to start here and then I'll move to the top of my mat so you can see me. But feel free to stay facing forward for yourself. Make sure you have got plenty of space around you, a nice clear space so you can do all of these movements. Mountain pose, extending through the palms, extending through the arms, allowing your shoulder blades to come together, softening through the shoulders. And I'm going to come to the top of my mat so that you can follow along from the side. So you could have your palms extended. You could also turn the palms in, one or the other. See what feels best to you. And when you're ready, breathing in and up, extended mountain. Breathing out, you could swan dive, really lengthen through the core, or roll down the spine. You choose. Find your way back down to standing forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Bend the knees, soften through breathing in. And hands back to the heart on your exhale. All right. Breathe in, reach up. Extended mountain. Roll down or swan dive down to standing forward fold. Excuse me. Breathe in, really lift through the top of the head. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, soften through the arms, sweep the arms, and back to hands to heart. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, swan dive or roll down to forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Top of the head reaches. Breathe out, forward fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms. Breathe in and up. Exhale, the palms to the heart in prayer. Beautiful. All right, let's come to some full sun salutations. Starting in mountain pose, you choose palms out or turned inward. Fingertips are actively reaching, pressing down through the feet, softening through the backs of the knees, finding a strength and clarity like a beautiful mountain. Just embody that mountain for a moment. Breathe into your mountain and out. When you're ready, breathe in, reach up. Extended mountain, you might look up, breathe out, lengthen swan dive or roll down. You could use the blocks here for a little support. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Bringing the palms to the floor, stepping the feet back, coming into that plank, that long, strong spine. Palms under the shoulders, elbows close into the body. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, reach the tailbone, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a few breaths here. Might move or stillness might feel really good. Can always rest in tabletop or any position that you need to rest in. Maybe you want to walk your feet out. Maybe liberating peace is a little shake or a little movement. Remember, we can find liberation and peace in different ways because we're all different. And sometimes we are different from one day to the next. Right. Breathing in, look between your palms and walk, step, float, or jump your feet to your hands. Come to the top of your mat and we'll do another sun salutation. Surya Namaskar. Thank you for the sunshine. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, sweep the arms. Gather the energy of the sun. Exhale, hands to heart. Breathe in, reach up, extended mountain. Breathe out, swan dive or roll your way back down. Forward fold. Breathe in, plant the palms, send the feet straight back. Come into that strong plank. Breathe out. You could have your knees down or up, you choose. Breathe out, elbows in, come into cobra. Up dog, you choose. Tuck the toes, come back to down dog. Tail reaches, ground through the feet. Remember, everyone is different. Some people will be able to reach their heels to the ground, and for some people that is not the best for them. So remember that your body is unique and beautiful just as it is. This practice is for you. It doesn't have to look like anyone else. It has to feel good to you, and that's a process of peace, a process of liberation, and it takes trial and error and practice. So be gentle and kind to yourself. Breathe into this downward dog, a few more deep breaths. Take any movement that feels good here. You might want to shake your head no gently, or yes, allowing the weight of the skull to release down for a moment. And when you're ready, look between your palms and step, float, jump, walk, or hop your feet to your hands. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, sweep the arms, gather the sun's beautiful energy, and bring it in to your heart. Press the palms together. Take a moment to just breathe in and out. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the process and the progress you are making towards liberating peace for yourself and others. All right, I'm going to come back towards facing you. Have your blocks handy for these next postures. We'll be moving into Warrior Two sequence. So for this sequence, if you'd like to, step the feet wide, and you can have your feet pointing forward at first. And then if you'd like to, take your right toes out to the side, keeping your left toes pointing forward. And you could bend that right knee. This time, do make sure that your right knee is tracking over your right ankle. You might have your hands on your hips to start. Really press down through the feet, and you might take a moment, notice for yourself. You could have your heel lined up with the middle of your back foot or heel to heel lined up. Just take a moment to feel really good and grounded in this Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. You could reach your arms out gently to the side if you'd like to. You could also open through the palms. You could rotate a bit here for a moment. If you'd like to join me in a little warrior dance, turn one palm up, leave the other palm down, and look toward the palm that's up, alternating through the palms, if it feels good to you. If you'd like to add a little knee bend, feel free to bring your knees, track the knees over the toes as you move side to side. This time, if you're bending the knee, make sure you're keeping those knees not going too far or really past the ankle. So doing less is more here. Beautiful. Come back to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Soften through the shoulders. Allow your left arm to reach back toward the left leg. And you could choose here. You could just reach straight up for Peaceful Warrior. That's really easy on the lower back. Gives you some length through the spine. Soften down even as you reach up. Or you could take this arm up and over. And you might look straight out. You might look up. Or you might look down. Breathe into Peaceful Warrior, Shanti Virabhadrasana. We stand on the shoulders of so many people who have worked for peace, who have resisted oppression, so that we could be here in the liberation and the peace that we have in our lives. Breathing into this progress toward liberating peace for all people, including ourselves. Breathing back into Warrior Two. Breathe it in, breathe it out. If you'd like to, take your right arm, fold it in. Allow your forearm just to gently, softly land like a butterfly on your front thigh. And take your left arm up and over, finding this long line between your left fingertips and the back of your left, or the outside edge of your left foot. extended side angle. You could lean into it, find a little more stretch. Remember, stay light on this arm. Breathe in and out. When you're ready, come back to warrior two. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Let's turn into runner's lunge. So spiraling that left leg in, bringing the palms down. You might want to use the blocks here for runner's lunge. You might also be okay to put your palms on the floor, taking the right toes back, lifting the tailbone up, taking a moment, maybe walking it out, noticing how each side of you feels. And when you're ready, breathing it in and out, and down and dog, downward dog. And when you're ready, taking the left toes, perhaps reaching them back a little bit, and then forward between the hands, bringing the left foot between the hands, and spiraling, this time coming up, and spiraling into warrior two on the second side. So we're already kind of lined up, but take a moment to feel into your alignment. So perhaps your left heel, lines up with the middle of your right foot. Or maybe you line up through the heels. If you'd like to, take that warrior dance, turning one palm up, the other palm up, the other palm down, one palm up, the other palm down, looking toward the palm that's up. You might take your knees in a little dance, tracking the knees over the toes. Remember, do what feels good to you, do what's easeful for you. And whenever you're ready, come back to warrior two, that strength and stability, and allow your right arm to reach towards your right leg, and your left arm, it could either reach straight up, that lower back stability and easiness, or you might take your left arm up and over, and you could look straight out, you could look up, or you could look down. Breathe into your sense of easiness here. Whenever you're ready, coming back through warrior two. This time, if you'd like to, allow your left arm to fold in, resting your left forearm on your left thigh, taking that right arm up and over, making a long, strong line, extended side angle pose. Find as much ease as you can, press into the outer edge of the back foot, breathe into it. Whenever you're ready, coming back through warrior two. And if you'd like to, spiraling toward that bent knee, spiraling the back leg in, so everything's facing forward now. Bringing the palms down to the blocks or the floor, you choose. Bringing the left foot back, finding your downward facing dog. You could take a vinyasa here. Remember, vinyasa could mean moving into a plank. Long, strong spine, bending the elbows and lowering down. Coming up into a baby cobra, a full cobra, or up dog, you choose. Breathing in and out, press the tops of the feet into the floor, engage through the core, tuck the toes, lift the tail, come into downward facing dog. Breathing into downward facing dog. Softening into a version of this posture that is the most liberating and peaceful for you. Full deep breaths. Maybe you gently shake the head, yes or no, letting the weight of the neck and the skull be heavy, pressing into the feet, pressing into the palms, lifting up, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. And whenever you're ready, you can step, float, walk, or jump your feet to the top of the mat, to your hands. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, sweep the arms, gather the energy. Exhale, hands to the heart. Great. I'm going to come face you again. And this time, we'll take a similar sequence. Feel free to follow along and, of course, take any mom variations that feel right to you. So we'll start with our wide-legged stance here. I'm going to start this time grounding through the feet with my hands on my hips. And feel free to do the same. If you'd like to turn that right foot out again, bend the knee, coming back into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Breathe in and out. Move into Shanti Virabhadrasana, Peaceful Warrior. Left arm down the left leg, reach either straight up or up to go over. Looking out, looking down, looking up, you choose. Breathing into liberating peace for yourself and others. Breathing in back to Warrior Two. Remember Ahimsa, core principle, non-violence, non-harming. So kindness to yourself as we go through these more challenging postures. Coming into extended side angle, resting your right forearm on your right thigh, extending those left fingertips, making a long line from your left fingertips to the outer edge of the left foot. Breathing in and out. If you'd like to, step your left foot in a bit. And you may want to find your block here, bringing it in to the inside part of your foot, and perhaps lengthening the right foot, the right leg, and reaching up through the left arm. You might use a block. You might do less here. For me, less is more feels better. I actually like to do this pose a little more upright. You can come all the way in and over. I'm working on building some strength for that, so you may be in the same boat. Imagine you're between two panes of glass, so you really have the sense of opening and finding some triangle shapes through your body. All right, coming back up through Warrior Two. Breathe it in and out. And when you're ready, perhaps turn that foot in and let's take a moment to move the block to the other side. All right, from here, I'm going to turn my left toes out. We're going to come into Warrior Two on the second side, on the left side. Bending the left knee over the left ankle. Line up the ankles, the heels. The left heel with the back right heel, or the left heel with the middle of the back foot, or find an alignment that feels right to you. Reaching out into Warrior Two, maybe wiggling the fingertips, grounding through the feet. Exercise your smile muscle if you feel inspired to. Virabhadrasana 2. When you're ready, allow your back arm to reach toward the back leg, the right arm to the right leg. Perhaps you reach up or up and over. Breathing into it. Feel free to look up, look out, or look down. Shanti Virabhadrasana, peaceful warrior. Breathing into liberating peace, the progress and the process of that for yourself and for others. Using this moment to really ground into that. What might inspire you to do after you move off your yoga mat? Coming back through Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Beautiful. Softening the left elbow, resting it ever so gently on the left side. Taking the right arm up and over, extended side angle. Opening up through the heart. That's it. Pressing into the outer edge of the back foot. Make the posture adjust, make it feel right for you. So remember, it doesn't have to look like me or anybody else but your beautiful self. All right, let's come into triangle pose, which again, a little challenging. You might step that back foot in. You might extend the left leg, and you might just let it be like this. You don't have to use the block. You don't have to reach as far down, but you certainly can You can use the block. As I mentioned, I do a less is more approach for myself. Pretend you're between two panes of glass. Find those strong triangles, one of the strongest shapes in the whole universe. Three sides. Yeah, that's it. All right. Coming back through the center, through warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Maybe wiggle the fingers, maybe shake out the elbows, maybe give yourself a shimmy shake. Let's breathe it in, breathe it out. Turn the left toes in, perhaps move your block to the side, and we will come into some fun standing balancing poses. So for standing balancing, feel free to take a moment to just shift your weight onto each side and just notice whatever you notice about what it's like to put weight on one side, one foot, and then the other. And take a moment to also just feel your center line. When we are doing balancing poses, it can be really helpful and stabilizing and supportive to the body to think about that center line of you. So just keep that in mind as we go. So the line from the heel to the big toe and this center line of the body. All right, so go ahead and shift onto your right foot. And then take your left foot, and you can choose here. You could keep your toes on the ground and turn the left leg out. So you could keep your toes on the ground, lengthen up, grow strong like a tree. This is tree pose. And as you can see, there's many beautiful trees. Trees make all sorts of shapes. So really find your version of this. You might lift your foot and put it on your lower leg. Press your foot into your lower leg. Make sure to avoid pressing into your knee. Press either the lower leg, or you could take your foot and press it into your thigh. Really finding those two sides pressing together so you can feel that strength through your center. You could press your palms together and you could find a focal point or a drishti. With your eyes, find a point in space ahead of you that you can look at and focus on to maintain your balance. It's okay to wobble, it's okay to come out of it, it's okay to fall. It's all part of the process of finding stability. You might choose to reach your arms out in space like a tree. You might reach them up. See, it's okay to wobble. Wobbling builds strength and resilience, and balance is dynamic. Breathe it in. Feel your beauty, strength, and power as a tree. Feel your roots rooting down through your feet. And if you'd like to, on the exhale, perhaps you come into just allowing yourself to support your thigh with your palms, finding some levelness in your hips. So even as you're supporting, you're allowing your knee to come straight out. You might even let go of supporting if you feel like you're hiking your hips. See, that's hiking. I'm keeping my hips level and just lifting through the knee. And you might just take a few gentle circles through the ankle. One direction and then the other. You might extend that leg out. Some people reach and grab onto their toe. For me, that doesn't work so well for me, so I'm just doing it this way. But you can feel free to try that if you want to reach the big toe. You can also use different supports, but those are the ones I'll offer today. All right, when you are ready, you can reach the back toes, left toes, and heel back. So reach through the heel, flex the foot. In fact, I'll turn to the side so you can see me, but you can come into warrior three. So it looks something like this, reaching back, keeping the hips level. So my hips are pointing toward the floor, extending. You could have your arms reaching straight back. That's probably the easiest on the lower back. Engage the core. You could extend the arms out to the side, or you might reach them up overhead. For me, that puts a little too much pressure on my lower back, so I'm going to come back here. That feels better to me. Grounding through your breath, grounding through your feet. Whew, beautiful, everyone. And then coming back to both feet. Let's restabilize in chair. So sending the tailbone back, bending the knees. Coming into chair pose. Resting into it. Softening through the shoulders. You might have the arms up. They could be out in front of you. They could be on your hips. And whenever you're ready, coming back to standing. I'll turn back to face towards you. And this time we'll do tree pose on the second side. So feel free to shift your weight onto your left foot and take your right toes, right leg, turn out that right leg. Press the toes into the floor. Perhaps this is your tree. You want to just stay here. That's great. Remember that center line of the body for balance. Perhaps you bring your foot onto the lower leg. Press the foot into the lower leg. Or maybe you reach the foot up to the thigh, pressing the inside of the foot into the thigh. Remember to avoid putting weight into your knees. Pressing both sides of you together, finding stability. Find a focal point, perhaps something straight in front of you that you can focus your eyes, soften your gaze. You might reach your arms out into space in some beautiful tree shape. Remember, trees are really powerhouses at breathing, so you might breathe in and out. Softening through the shoulders. You might find different shapes. Remember, it's okay to wobble. Woo! Find your favorite tree shape. Breathe it in. Grow a little taller. And when you're ready, perhaps you'd like to find your palms lifting that thigh, finding that levelness in the hips. You might also put your hands on your hips to feel that and take that leg straight out. You could grasp the toe and reach it out. As I said before, the proportion of my arm's length and leg just doesn't quite feel right, so I like to just do it like this. But your body might be different than mine, or it is different than mine for sure. All right, coming back through the center. If you'd like to, I'm going to turn to the side, but you stay facing forward so you can see, taking your right foot straight back into warrior three. Lengthening through the spine, you might be looking down. You could reach your arms straight back. Reach through your back heel, through your right heel. You might take your arms out to the side like an airplane in flight. Or maybe you reach your arms up overhead. You choose. Remember, this might be the easiest on the lower back. And when you're ready, bringing the feet together, restabilizing in chair pose, sending the tailbone back, bending the knees, lengthening through the spine. Really finding some easiness here. Your weight's a little more on your heels, softening through the shoulders, breathing in and out. Deep breath. Arms could be in front, they could also be at your hips. All right, coming back to standing for a moment. Now, some people might enjoy having a little support with a block here. It's just an option, not a requirement, but you could have it here if you'd like that. So go ahead and we'll come into eagle pose. So taking the left leg and crossing it over the right. This is where you might like to, you could have it a little closer to you. You could rest your toes on a block if you want, or that might not be the most helpful for you. Taking the left foot, crossing it over the right. You could wrap the toes around if you can reach. Make sure you're still keeping a sense of squareness in the hips, so hips are pointing forward. If the left leg is over, that means the left arm is under and the right arm goes over. Crossing the elbows and then finding that twist through the palms. Breathing into this posture, sitting back with the hips. Perhaps you reach up through the palms, soften down with the shoulders. Breathing into it. Imagining the liberating flight of an eagle. Whenever you're ready, come into a little flight and come back to chair pose. Arms can be overhead. They could be in front of you. They could be at your hips. Breathing into chair, feeling your strength and stability. Coming back to standing, perhaps take that moment if you'd like to use the block on the other side, moving the block to the other side and adjusting the height as you need, or moving it away if you don't want to use it. Shifting weight onto the left leg, taking the right leg, crossing it up and over. Remember, if the right leg goes over, then the left arm goes over. Whoops, excuse me. The right, yes, the right leg goes over and the right arm goes under, the left arm goes over. Bringing the palms together, reaching up through the elbows, sinking down through your sitting bones, through your tailbone, lengthening through the spine, breathing in and out through the nose. Imagining you're an eagle at the top of the tree, ready to take a liberating flight. Breathing into your strength and power. And whenever you're ready, release, exhale, take a flight, and come back to chair. Arms can be up, they can be out, they can be at your hips. Take a moment, just check in with your knees. Make sure your knees are parallel. That'll be important on this next pose. So just check in with your knees. If one knee is in front of the other, that can put a little extra stress on the lower back. So that's why I mentioned that. Knees are parallel for what's coming. Okay, let's come back to standing. We're going to move into a little bit of a lunge sequence. So you will do a little bit more with chair first, and then I'll turn to the side, but you can stay facing forward for the lunges. Okay, breathing into a chair. You choose for yourself how deep this chair is. Find your stability. Reach your arms above your head or out in front of you. Could wiggle the fingers. Could bring the hands to the hips. You choose for yourself. Find that length in the spine. So again, check in with your knees. You can use your eyes here. Just make sure that one knee is not ahead of the other. Find that evenness in the body. If you need to make the pose a little bit smaller, feel free to do that. Find that length in the spine. And then breathe in, grow your spine up, and exhale, twist to the side. You could twist with your arms out. You could twist in a cactus pose. You could also allow your forearm to rest on your knees, and then you can really, or excuse me, your thighs. Then you can really see your thighs. You could open that arm up to the side. Feel this twist really mostly in your rib cage and upper body. And when you're ready, perhaps breathe the palms back together, hands to heart, and come to standing. Take a moment and just rest. Feel your resting and standing. All right, let's come back into that chair. Breathing in, reaching up. You might reach straight ahead, or maybe your hands are at your side. Take a moment. Some people do chair with their feet together, so that might feel better to you. I like to have my feet about hip distance apart, sending the tailbone back, lengthening through the spine. When you're ready, find your twist. You could open the arms to the side gently. You could cactus the arms out like a goalpost. Check in with those knees. You could also rest your right arm onto your thigh, and check in with your knees. For this one, I have to be a little extra mindful for myself because I'm extra flexible. So just know for yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. And when you're ready, come back to your hands at your heart. Find your stable chair. Inhale, exhale, and coming back to standing. Beautiful. So I'm going to turn to the side. You can stay facing forward. Come to the top of your mat. Beautiful sunshine is shining through my window. Just take a moment, check in with your alignment. And when you're ready, take your left foot straight back. And perhaps your left foot turns on just a 45-degree angle, just a slight angle. And your right toes are pointing straight forward. Come into high lunge or crescent lunge. Reaching the arms overhead. If it feels good, you can turn the pinkies inward and soften the shoulders down. Breathe in and out. And when you're ready, when you feel stable in your lower body, you could come into a revolved high lunge. So allowing your body to turn out toward the right, softening through the shoulders, softening through the arms, drawing the right hip back, bringing the left butt or the left sacrum forward so you feel space in your sacrum. Breathing into the most easeful twist for you, breathing into liberating peace. And when you're ready, coming back through the center, through high lunge, arms up overhead. And if you'd like to, turn back out, facing into a warrior two. Turning the toes of the right foot in, you can feel that stable pose. And let's do this one more time, turning the toes out. So we came in, we're going to go out. This is just a preview of what's to come. You're going to come into a runner's lunge. So you could take the blocks for your hands if you'd like to, and then lengthen that front leg. And perhaps now turn the toes in. So you kind of see what's coming and allow your palms to rest on the mat. Both feet turn towards the corner of the mat, or excuse me, the long edge of the mat. Relax your head and neck down. You might want to have a block here. You could rest your head on a block. That can feel really grounding. You could reach toward your ankle. You could soften down through the shoulders. Choose what feels the best to you. Breathe into it. Allow the weight of your head and neck to go. So you might move the block so you can let more weight go downward. Or you might not use the block. Choose what works the best for you. And then when you're ready, walking your hands over to the left side, turning the left toes to that opposite edge of the mat and turning the right toes in. Let's come into high lunge, reaching up into high lunge on the second side. So left foot is bent, left leg is bent. You can turn the pinkies in, let the shoulders soften down. Breathe in and out. Let that back leg be on the 45-degree angle. This is high lunge. And then if you'd like to, coming into that revolved high lunge, spiraling the rib cage, reaching out through the arms to the left. So you could reach out through the fingertips and arms. You could also let the arms relax a bit down. You choose. Breathing into it, softening into this revolved high lunge. Feeling that space in your sacrum. So really finding the space in the back, bringing the right butt muscle kind of a little forward so you can feel that space in your sacrum. Breathing into it. When you're ready, coming back through high lunge. And let's come into a runner's lunge. So you could have your palms at the floor, at the mat. Step the left foot back, come into downward facing dog. Breathe into it. You could stay in downward dog if you'd like to. Or if you'd like to move into an optional vinyasa, go ahead and come into the plank, long, strong plank, reaching back through the heels. You could drop your knees or keep the spine long and keep the knees up. You choose. Soften the elbows, lower down. Come into cobra, up dog, your choice. Tuck the toes, reach the tail, back to downward facing dog. Beautiful, everyone. And when you're ready, you can walk, step, float, or jump the feet toward the hands. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, sweep the arm. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right, we have moved through a lot of beautiful strengthening poses. We're going to move into some poses on the belly now. So find your most peaceful, liberating path into the floor, lying down on your belly for these next postures. A little bit of gentle back bends. Your path might look different than mine. I would suggest perhaps getting a drink of water on your way down to the floor. If you'd like to. And whenever you're ready, coming onto your belly, you can let one side of your head rest on the floor and just take a few breaths here. Let your weight be supported by gravity. We're going to move into Sphinx pose. So here, I'm going to allow our forearms to support us as we come into this gentle back bend, similar to Cobra but different. So you can press the tops of your feet down into the floor mat. Allow your breath to deepen. You might bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and allow your forearms and palms to spread out along the floor as you lift and spread the collarbones wide. Really explore and allow yourself to find the version of this Sphinx pose that really serves you and nourishes your body at this moment. Excuse me. Pressing the forearms and the palms down into the mat. And I like to just take a moment to kind of look around very gently through the head and neck here. Feel the spiral in the head and neck. And then coming back to this gazing straight ahead. Really be mindful of what's going on in your lower back. Just letting yourself be aware of your body. And then when you're ready, slowly lowering down. And just take a moment here to rest. The rest part of yoga is really important. You might allow yourself to move to the other side. And then whenever you're ready, bringing your arms long at your sides. So your arms are just resting, almost like they are when you're standing. And allowing your palms to face up towards the sky. We'll move into locust pose or shalabhasana. Taking a few deep breaths before moving into it. Really letting gravity support you. When you're ready, on your exhale, lift your feet, lift your hands, and lift your hearts. And then keep breathing deeply. You might gaze down or gently forward. Reach through the toes, reach through the fingertips. Go for length over, the curve in your back. Really go for the length. I have to remind myself that. Lengthening through the spine. Breathing deep and free. And when you're ready, softening back down to the beautiful support of the floor. You might see which side it feels best to rest on, which cheek of your face. Softening the muscles of the face. Breathing deep. And when you're ready, on an exhale, lift your feet, lift your hands, lift your heart. Find that lengthening through the spine. So you might look down or just gently out in front of yourself. Really reach through the toes. Reach the fingertips. Find the length in the spine, strengthening the lower back. Breathing deep and free. Bring the feet a little closer together. And when you're ready, softening back down to the beautiful support of the earth, the floor, the mat. Take a few deep, easy breaths here. If you'd like to, you can just continue resting for a moment. Or if you'd like to, you can try it one more time. On an exhale, lift the feet, lift the hands, lift the heart. Lengthening through the spine, perhaps looking out gently ahead of you or looking down. Lengthening through the toes, through the fingertips, breathing deep and free. And whenever you're ready, softening back down to the support of the earth. And when you're ready, bringing your palms underneath your shoulders, tucking your toes, and pressing back down into a tabletop. Or you could tuck your toes and come to downward facing dog. You just see what your body needs at this moment. Downward facing dog might feel nice. You could take an optional vinyasa, plank, lower down cobra, you choose, or you could just stay like I am in down dog. And then coming back to perhaps table and finding your way, your own peaceful, liberating way into constructive rest. So that means lying in your back. Again, you might take a drink of water as you make your way. It's very warm where I am, so I'm drinking water today. We'll move into constructive rest. So constructive rest, finding your own way into this. There's lots of ways into this. You could use the palms of your hands and just gently lay down on your side and then allow yourself to find this restful position with your feet on the floor. The knees can rest towards each other, or you could have your knees open a little bit. You might even take the palms and bring them to the belly for a moment and just take a deep belly breath. And you could take the fingertips to the bones right behind your ears and just allow yourself to feel some length in the spine, letting the chin soften down. And then bringing the palms long, or the arms long at the sides, and the palms, you could press the palms down into the floor, press the feet down into the floor, and then gently lift the hips up, finding that length through the spine. You make sure that you just keep looking up. Don't look to the side in this posture. So even though you're tracking on the screen, you might just look at how this pose is done if you've never done it before, and then come back into it so that you're not turning to the side to see. You're just really looking up. So you don't want to turn the neck side to side here. You could clasp the fingertips underneath you if you want to, bringing the shoulder blades together. Press the feet into the floor and just breathe deep and free into bridge pose. Finding that length in the spine, softening the muscles of the face as you look straight up. And then unclasping the hands if you're clasping them, and gently begin lowering from the top of the spine all the way down. The hips come slowly back down. Take a moment here, perhaps in constructive rest, allowing your palms to rest on your belly. Take a belly breath. And then perhaps rolling onto one side or the other, using the palms, finding a peaceful and liberating way to come back to downward facing dog. So you might come through tabletop, take your time, come all the way back to downward facing dog. That's it, beautiful. Press through the palms, press through the toes. Allow yourself to just take a few breaths here, reset. And when you're ready, you might take your right toes back and then bring your right shin forward into pigeon pose. So we'll take the right shin, flexing through the right foot, finding this length. This is a place where some people may want to use a blanket underneath the hips. It feels better to you, or underneath the knee. Make sure that you find the version of this that works the best for you today. Flexing through those right feet, you might find your length first, and then gently, perhaps bring the palms together. You could clasp the hands and just rest over this front leg in sleeping pigeon. Really soften down, let everything rest and melt. It can be an intense stretch, so breathe into it, just as needed. Sleeping pigeon. And whenever you're ready, from here, gently pressing the palms into the floor, rolling up, and you might just gently, slowly, in your own way, you might move the blanket out from under you, roll into an easy sitting, and then come into downward facing dog on the other side. Take your time to get there. Find your most peaceful, liberating way. Downward facing dog. Breathe into downward facing dog. And whenever you're ready, you might take it on the other side, bringing the opposite shin in between your palms, sending those opposite leg back and finding for yourself this lengthening moment. And then whenever you're ready, softening over the front shin, really taking it easy, being gentle with yourself, perhaps clasping the palms together, resting down, allowing gravity to support you. You could use the blanket under your hips or knee if you'd like. Flexing the foot that's bent. Breathing deep and free. Whenever you're ready, coming slowly up, pressing the palms into the floor. This time, if you'd like to, as you come up through sitting, bring the soles of the feet together and come into butterfly or bound angle. So this can be a really fun posture. You might want to use, some people like to use the blocks underneath the knees here. That could be nice. Some people like to sit up on a blanket. So you could choose for yourself if you would like to try one of those versions. Bringing the soles of the feet together, lifting and lengthening up through the spine. You might even give your butterfly a little flight. Thinking of the butterflies outside and that liberating journey that they take, the liberating journey with lots of moments of peace and connection and joy along their path, and also struggle and focus. And it's amazing what butterflies can do and how they fly. Just take a moment, feel yourself as a butterfly with that lightness and also beautiful strength. Lengthening up through the spine. Beautiful. From here, if you'd like to, we'll come into staff pose. So you can do this um, using the mat for your length. I'll actually turn to the side so you can see this might be what it looks like if you are using a yoga mat. It's just coming with your feet extended in front of you. This is a really active pose. So it's simple, but it's also active. So I have my feet flexed. You can see there's a little space under my knees, pressing down through the legs, pressing down maybe even through the palms and lengthening up through the spine, coming into staff pose. So finding that length and active sitting here, engaging through the muscles, perhaps pressing down and also lifting and lengthening up. When you're ready, hinge at the hips so that your lower back is long and lengthened. If you find that you're rounding in your lower back, that's when you would like to, when it's helpful and healthy to sit up on some height with a blanket or even a block, bolster. I am finding that length and then gently softening over. Remember, if your hamstrings are tight, you can also have your knees bent. Softening over. Just the upper body softens and rounds. My lower body stays long and lengthened. So for some folks, you will find that lengthening and finding different places on your leg or in front of you might feel better. You might reach towards your toes. But less is more. Soften the head and neck. Breathe into this forward fold. You might allow yourself to just soften into it even more. Let gravity hold you, keeping that length in the lower back. When you're ready, gently pressing the palms into the floor and slowly rolling back up through the center. Just did seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana, and staff pose, Dandasana. Right, from here we'll come to constructive rest again. So that's on your back. As you remember, you might take your own pathway to get there. You might pause and get a drink of water. We're getting ready for our final rest. So take any movements that you need to before we come into constructive rest. Constructive rest, you might use the palms of your hands to lay on your side first and then roll onto your back. It's a nice, easy way, or you might find another way that feels peaceful and liberating and easy for you. When you get to your back, take that moment to find the length through your spine, maybe touch the bones behind your ears. You could choose to have your arms long at your sides, or you might place your palms at your belly and just take a few breaths. And if you'd like to, you could cross your right foot over your left ankle, flexing the right foot and opening out through that right knee. And if you'd like, if it's available to you, you can thread your arms through, catching your left shin with your clasping hands. Just bring that left knee in. Or you could clasp the thigh and hamstring. Find what works for you. Keeping that length in the spine, you might press the elbow gently press the right elbow into the right thigh. Find the space and length. And when you're ready, putting the left foot back on the floor, slowly uncrossing the legs. Maybe taking any little wiggles or movements. And then whenever you're ready, taking the left foot, crossing it over the right leg. You might thread the palms through and clasp the shin or the hamstring, you decide. Bringing that right knee in towards the belly. You might press your left elbow into the left thigh, opening up the hips, flexing through the left foot, breathing into it, softening the muscles of the face, head, and neck. Whenever you're ready, coming back through the center, you could bring the left foot onto the floor. And if you'd like to, just take that moment in constructive rest. And if it feels good to you, you might take a moment and allow your knees to gently fall to the left while your gaze falls to the right. And just being mindful of keeping your shoulders on the ground here. Really making this as much ease in your head and neck as you possibly can, and everywhere in your body. You might bring your left palm to the rib cage, just breathe into the ribs and the lungs. This easy twist. And then whenever you're ready, gently rolling back through the center. In that moment in constructive rest, breathing deep. Whenever you're ready, allowing your knees to fall to the right, and your gaze can fall to the left. Being mindful of your shoulders. You might extend your arm out to the side. You might place your right palm on your thigh or your rib cage, keeping both shoulders on the floor, and just breathing into this twist. Finding as much ease in your head and neck as you can and in your whole body. Whenever you're ready, gently coming up through the center, enjoying the journey, this process of liberating peace. Take a moment in constructive rest. Perhaps bring your palms to your belly if it feels good. We'll come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. For this posture, just allow yourself to rest into it. You could choose to have your legs extended. You might want to have the blanket to cover up if you get cold, or you could put the blanket underneath your knees as a little bit of support, kind of to lift up a little bit under the knee. So take a moment to find your most comfortable and easeful Shavasana posture for today. Really just allow yourself to be supported by gravity, by the earth, by your own skeleton. And whenever you're ready, just allow your body to rest. For some people, you might feel good to stay in constructive rest also with the knees bent. I'm just finding that for myself right now. I think I'll stay in constructive rest. Just feels really good on my back. Allowing yourself to find the most restful and easeful position. Connecting to your breath. Connecting to your source of support, the earth, the air. And connecting to liberating peace for yourself and others as you breathe. So it'll be quieter If you allow yourself to soften into this resting time for a few moments, a few minutes, allow the muscles of your face to soften, the breath to deepen, to be carried along on the winds of liberating peace. Whenever you're ready, if you'd like to, gently wiggle your toes through your fingertips and perhaps allow your head to gently rock side to side. Allow your breath to deepen. If your eyes were closed, you can gently open your eyes, allowing your gaze to be soft. Wiggling the fingers and toes, making any other gentle movements that feel good to you. And remembering that the way is so important. How we get to our destination is so important. So if you'd like to take that moment to really rest on your side or find any way that feels liberating and good to you to move back, we're gently, slowly making our way back to sitting. So I like to rest on my side for a moment and feel that connection to the earth here. And then if you'd like to, gently pressing the palms, allowing yourself to be lifted back up, right? Perhaps coming back to that easy seat in the most easy, liberating, peaceful way. I'm going to scooch up just a little bit closer to you for this last part of closing. So coming into your easy seat, it might look like this, it might look a little different. And perhaps grounding through your sitting bones, lengthening your spine up tall. If you'd like to, you can bring your palms to your heart. And I'll just end with a few quotes from this inspiring journey of liberation and peace and nonviolence that yoga is about. So these quotes are from people who've embodied these yogic principles of nonviolence and liberating peace in their path being the way to get there. So Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, who was born on October 2nd, 1869, during his life he said many wonderful and inspiring quotes, including, "Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon." And a quote from Opal Lee, who's known as the grandmother of Juneteenth. "None of us are free until we all are free. And freedom to me means everyone having what they need." In the spirit of liberating peace, in the spirit of yoga, in the spirit of love and care for ourselves and for all others, I invite you to close with 3 breaths. If you'd like to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, here we go. Thank you for joining me in this yoga class today. I hope that it has brought you some progress in your journey towards liberating peace for yourself and others. And I'm excited to see what liberating peaceful steps you will take when you step off your mat. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you another time.